Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. 2-0 in the Champions League round of 16, away from home in Frankfurt, guys. What a performance in the second half of the first half. In the second bit of the first half is what I'm trying to say. Eintracht Frankfurt obviously started the game super strong. The first 10 minutes was all about them and their fans pushing that team. We talked about it, guys, in the preview. I know you guys watched the preview of this game. We talked about their fans, how they would support that team. And I was tweeting during the game, so follow me on Twitter if you don't already. I was tweeting during the game saying that absolutely we need to keep the ball and make these Frankfurt fans a little bit more quiet. Don't give them anything to cheer about. And after about 10 minutes or so, we found our feet and we managed to keep hold of the ball. And from 10 minutes onwards, it was all Napoli, guys, all Napoli. Up until, even when it was 2-0, or maybe it was 1-0 when Frankfurt got the red card. I can't remember. We'll go through the match analysis soon. At that point, guys, the possession for Napoli and around the 60th minute mark was 71% possession for Napoli, 29% for Frankfurt. Passing accuracy, 87% for Napoli and 73% for Frankfurt. And interceptions won, and this is important. We'll see that in the match analysis, why this is important. 10 interceptions for Napoli, 1 for Frankfurt. And that's where Napoli won the game today. The midfield, the interceptions that Lobotka and Anguissa and Zielinski did. The midfield today won us the game. And then we had El Chucky Lozano on fire, guys. Literally on fire. Well, not literally, but he was on fire today down that right-hand side. Man, Chucky, whatever it is that you had for breakfast today, please have it again next time you play. Because, hey, man, if this is the level of performance that you've got in you, then try to be consistent with that, because we love to see that here. So, yeah, by the way, guys, I know it's been a while since I wore this very nice Napoli shirt. I mean, I think this is my favorite Napoli shirt. Obviously, it's got Maradona at the back. Well, I wore it during the World Cup supporting Argentina. I wore it today supporting Napoli, and it's another cup game. So I think this shirt, I'm going to keep it for cup matches. So yeah, who knows? And yeah, I think it's one of the nicest shirts, by the way. Just looking at the screen, the striped shirt, it's very nice. It's very nice. Anyways, let's go and see what you guys are saying, because obviously I want to get your reactions to this game as well. I see Ayola Oni is in the house. Says, Napoli Talk, how do we calculate capacity, bro? Bro, that's an inside joke. Dude, the capacity of this team to win games, that's what we got to talk about. That's what we got to talk about. Man, we got a donation, guys, from Napoli Nation TV. You guys know all about them. They are smashing it. Other content creators, guys, I know you're going to tell me, yeah, Dom, you always talk about them. Yeah, but I mean, they're good. So go check them out. Clean sheet and man of the match is Chucky, number 11. Forza Napoli. Man. I've got, thing is, Chucky. All right, I'll give you a preview of my player ratings. Chucky scored very highly. Very, very highly. We'll see if he's man of the match. We will see. We'll talk about it in due time. There is also a lot of you joining the live stream. As always, nowadays, this channel is growing. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to your engagement. Smash that like button to show some love for Napoli. Every time you smash that like button, Napoli wins the next games. That's how it's been going on for the last year or so, and it seems to be working. So, join in on the fun. We win once when we're on the field, and we win after the game as well when we smash the like button. That's how life goes. Jacksu says, Zambo and Chucky probably the best matches for Napoli, but I miss the Zambo, those dribbles, that movement. Zambo played well. I don't think he was. Look, there's a lot of players that played well. I don't think he was the best player on the field. There's a player that I gave as my man of the match. There we go. We said it's not Lozano. Now that I've admitted it, there's a player that I said is my man of the match, or that I will say. I will show you guys soon. Which I haven't seen yet in the comments. I don't know why you guys are not talking about him. Anthony G says, the growth of Osimhen, not only as a player, but as a leader, can't be stressed enough. He is an amazing teammate, and I'm sure is a huge presence in the locker room. Guys, Osimhen, I don't have a screenshot of this. I wish I took it. But Osimhen, when Kvara missed the penalty, was the first person that went up to him. And when Kvara went like this with his head, Osimhen put a hand, I think, on Kvara's chin and, told him to raise his head. So, yeah, I mean, a leader, guys. I mean, think about it. He's only 24, this guy. He's 24, and he's so mature nowadays. And I was looking back at some of his, stuff from a few seasons ago. And, he was always offside, always unconcentrated. And nowadays, he's concentrated. I mean, I shouldn't say that today because he did score an offside goal. But, you guys know what I mean. Like, he's in the game. He's a leader. He stays cool, collected. Very, very big progression from Osimhen. Trinigrade 01 says, wow, we dominated the crap out of Frankfurt. We could have easily been 4 or 5 goals up. Yeah, I think Napoli will be kicking themselves that it's only 2-0. Having said that, I do think I prefer 2-0 over 3-0. Now, you're going to say, Dom, you should probably go back to third grade math, right? Because 3 is obviously bigger than 2. Well, football's funny. I feel like with a 3-0, we would have seriously underestimated Frankfurt in the return leg, which means that we might have run into some problems there. Maybe Frankfurt get a goal. Then maybe they get a second goal because we start panicking or we go on. I don't like that, Whereas with a 2-0, I feel like we'll be forced to start the game still with a very high level of concentration needed, because at 2-0, everybody knows it's not game over. I know that in the poll, there's a lot of you that are saying it's a 100% chance of progressing to the quarterfinals. Guys, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a 100% chance. No such thing in a sport. No such thing. So I'm leaning more towards an 80, right? I think, a bit more than 80. I'm going to say, probably the right answer is about 90. But I would never click on 100%. Because, I think that could go and bite you later on. But I see that literally everyone who's live right now has voted, except maybe for one person, which is nice. A few of you, 10 of you more so, more or less think, or 7 or 8 of you think that it's a 50% chance. I like the way you think. That's how the players should feel after this game. Mike X says, as a Bundesliga fan who's watched a lot of Frankfurt this year, this game went as I predicted. They're going to commit fully to the league and not try in the second leg, especially without Muani. Yeah, Muani missing the second leg for them is going to be a huge, huge loss. And we saw Frankfurt, the spark went away as soon as Muani left. But what a player, guys, what a player he is. The first hour or so of the game, I was very impressed by Muani. Adam Miller says, yeah, I agree. I was disappointed in the red card. Without the red card, we might have won 3-0. Jackson says, it's still not settled. That's why I hoped at least for 3-0. Well, so you guys are more thinking about at 3-0, it's all settled. I'm thinking more at 3-0, we run the risk of underestimating Frankfurt too much in the second leg. And I mean, guys, I don't know if you guys watched the other game, right? But Liverpool was winning by 2 goals and they lost 5-2 against Real Madrid. Now, I'm not trying to say that Real Madrid is to the same level as Frankfurt, but what I am trying to say is that anything can happen in the Champions League. And I feel like, and it's a competition that it just runs off of momentum. So, if you give them a goal, you don't know whether it's going to stop there or they're going to score another 3 on you. And so I feel like if we start off the game with a 2-0, we're going to be more concentrated and thus less likely to concede. But Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of backwards thinking because normally you would want more goals, but hey, it is what it is. That's just my thoughts. I'm liking the fact that we're nearly at 100 likes, guys. Usually, we have to warm up to this a little bit more, but I like the way you guys are working today. So keep that up, guys. And soon we'll be watching. We'll do the match analysis. We'll do the Spalletti press conference, the player ratings, all that good stuff. Jason Tiso says, can't catch the live, have to start work. Great game. We'll definitely take the 2-0 win away. Don't forget to smash the like button. I like Jason because, he just came in to say his thing, told us to smash the like button and is, leaving, doing his grind. So my man Jason. Blue Line, congrats to you for this great win. 2-0 in Frankfurt. We put a foot in the next round. I just wish we scored a third, but still good like this. Salvatore Di Brita only caught the first 30 minutes, then glimpses of the rest. How'd we look? Man, we dominated. We were, just the better team today, whether it was when we were with 11v11 or 11v10. Hafiz Yusuf says, Adam Miller, exactly, the red card slowed us down a little bit. Sometimes it's a little harder to actually play 10v11 because the other team just kind of stops playing in attack, stops leaving you some spaces, even though we did still have a few chances. Saw the replay of the red, says Sal. Looked harsh, but hard to argue when a player's ankle gets stomped. Also was lucky to see the Kvara catch, turn and back heel. Mamma mia. It was really nice what Kvara did. And what Kvara did there, guys, what's really amazing about the Di Lorenzo goal is that we see a player in Kvara that misses a penalty, that misses a one-on-one chance a few minutes earlier, and this would tend to knock players' confidence down to 99% of the players, right? 99% of the players would just start to feel like it's not really their day. And they would stop trying to do fancy things or, just playing their style of football. That's not at all what happens with Kvara. He is so mentally strong that even after he messes those things up, he's not scared to mess up a third time and try a back heel pass inside the box. And this time, third time lucky, he gets it right. And, that's just, elite mentality there. So, yeah, very happy to have him on our team. Sal says, I just put 80% because I avoid absolutes and blanket statements. Exactly. Omari says, you just can't beat the energy of the Maradona right now. I think we have a chance of taking it with home advantage. I do agree. I think we should be bringing this home when we play at home. Great pass, but what a goal by Giovanni Di Lorenzo. And now he scored the other week, against the Salernitana. So now it's 2 goals in the space of 2 weeks, pretty much 2-3 weeks. So Di Lorenzo is getting into some very interesting positions lately, and I'm all for it. That's what I've been saying. I've been calling out for our wingers to start assisting and to start scoring more. I think that's an element of our game that was missing in previous seasons, and this year they've turned it up with the assists, especially Mario Rui. And Di Lorenzo has turned it up with the goals. It's not even his first in the Champions League, guys. He even scored against Ajax. So, just really, really good. Mo Hearn says, like this video before Dom goes live. So I'm still reading the comments from before I went live, which is, I need to catch up. As soon as I get through most of you, then don't worry, we'll do the match analysis. EKW says, and yet Gazzetta will give Napoli a 7 as a team. You guys have to all right. After the last game, okay, that we absolutely dominated in the Serie A, the live ended at 1 in the morning, right? I get a text from my dad, you're too generous with the live ratings. Okay. And that's exactly the kind of mentality that and the rigor in match ratings that you have in Italy. It's what other people in other countries might consider like a good score, which is maybe an 8 or above. In Italy, an 8 is like, wow, that was outstanding. Like 9s and 10s are not really given at all. Like a 10 would be reserved for a player like Maradona, a 9 for Messi, and 8 and below for mortals, right? So when someone gives you a 7, it's actually pretty good. And the suggestion from my dad was to lower my ratings just a little bit, to not alienate, people that are watching from Italy, which is, still a fair few of people. So you might start to see some lower scores, but honestly today there was one or two high ones as well. So, maybe it's got to be a smoother transition. I can't just one day just start dropping people by 2 points. Anyways, let me get to I missed a super chat. Mike X Stad, as consistent as Giovanni Di Lorenzo. Thank you for the $5 donation. Says, always so satisfying seeing a Premier League club, any club, getting slapped around. So referring to Liverpool, but especially Arsenal, he puts in brackets. In us all, media is EPL centric, 95%. I think I do wonder what I would love to see what BT Sport or any of these guys have to say after that game. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, they played against Real Madrid, which is the defending champions, not just any random person. Sunnable Flame says Lobotka was amazing. Sunnable, you might be onto something. I think you're gonna be happy with the player ratings. Rico 25 says, I can agree. Actually, 3-0 at home would make us too complacent. Anthony, men's in the house, says, I agree. Salvatore, great save. Kvara Skelia could have hit it harder and more up, but then he risks missing the target. So it was just a great save, really. Yeah, Kvara missed, but it happens, right? Like, Trapp is a very good goalkeeper. He showed that he was a good goalkeeper in the Europa League final. Some goalkeepers are just better at it. And, I don't think Kvara did a bad penalty. It wasn't his best. It wasn't bad either, And I prefer these penalties where they just put their head down, they choose a spot, and they go for it, instead of the ones where they do the stupid little run-ups. Oh, my God. I hate those. I absolutely hate those, because if you miss those, then you look like an idiot. Whereas if you miss trying to kick it normally, then it's like, oh, well, fair play, right? Like, it happens. So, yeah. Domenico Caruso says, man of the match, Lobo Frate. Yeah. I mean, you guys are starting to guess it. You guys are starting to guess who might be the man of the match. Dav says, hopefully Lozano plays like this for the rest of the season. I agree. Brian Camargo says, Mohani, man of the match for me, really gave us an advantage. Yeah, for sure, man. But I'm very disappointed in, I wish we would have won 2-0 and, got to see more of Muani. So, maybe him getting a red card in the 89th minute or something like that, because it's a real shame actually not to have seen more of that kid, because it is a joy to watch when you see a person, the top of their game, someone you don't get to see very often. I think we got robbed a little bit of seeing that, but very good news that he's not playing in the next game, right? So, I'm happy for the red. I wish it came later, and I wish the score would have been the same regardless. That would have been nice. Rafael Aguilera says, Di Lorenzo in one season has shown to be a better captain leader than Insigne. Doesn't take much, man. Doesn't take much. For those of you that have been watching this show for the last 2 years, I was not, I was not very happy with Insigne in the last season. So yeah, and I was alluding to it a little bit, especially after he signed for Toronto. Anyways, moving on. Fritti says, shame that we didn't win 3-0. FKI Samya says, I'm kind of disappointed the win. It should have been 4-0. Who's saying 5-0? Raise your hand if you wanted 5-0. Do we have a 6-0? Do we have a 7-0? Guys, 2-0 in the Champions League away from home is great. It's great. Like, I would have, if you told me this at the start of the season, I would have replied, where do I sign? Where do I sign for this? Guys, there's a lot of you watching the stream. Which is very nice to see. And that means I'm going to go, because we've passed the 130 likes, and you guys keep smashing those likes. Keep smashing those likes, even if you're watching on replay or later. Keep smashing it. I appreciate it if you do. We're going to go to the match analysis. So, all right. And what I love about these match analysis is that they're a bit of a story, right? It's not like one individual shot is, speaks for itself and that's it. There's a storyline behind this because football, things happen in the matter of 10 seconds, no less. Things happen in the matter of 3 seconds, right? But it's a build-up, right? It's a bit like chess, I've never played chess, so I don't know where I'm going with this. But I assume it's a bit like chess, where, you study the opposition a little, you see what they're trying to do, and then you work away around it. I assume that's how chess goes, but, I could be wrong. I don't got time to play chess. Anyways, so we start the game with a very interesting approach by Frankfurt, right? Because you assume that German teams are going to be high intensity. Instead, Frankfurt started very calmly. No pressure on Kim and Rahmani. What they were interested in was caging Lobotka. They knew the key to beating Napoli was to not give Lobotka any sort of freedom or any sort of opportunity to get the ball. So he's completely caged from every direction, right? Now, if you guys watched the last live that we did, we talked about how Sassuolo tried to do that as well and how Napoli found alternative ways to score goals. And, we will see how Napoli did that. But before we move on to that, Napoli had to do something else as well, right? Not only did they have to find a different way to score a goal, so not through a direct pass down the middle to Lobotka, because that was impossible, but they had to keep the wingers wide. Keep the wingers wide because Frankfurt were playing 5 at the back. And when you play 5 at the back, when the other team plays 5 at the back, if your wingers come into the middle, then that means that the 5 defenders get squished and you don't find any space through them centrally. And we all know that Napoli is most dangerous when we can get a ball in and behind defenses through the middle. Something that releases Lozano, something that releases Osimhen through the middle. That's when Napoli is most dangerous. To do that, Lozano and Kvara had to stay wide, right? Like they just have to when we play against a team that plays 5 at the back. And we'll see why this is important later. And remember, it's done to make gaps in between the defenders as big as possible. Now, unlike Frankfurt, this is how we press the ball, okay? And the interesting aspect here is the 3 players, who I feel are most advanced compared to their starting position of where they should be, are the 3 midfielders. Look at Zielinski and Anguissa being the 2 most pressing players, and Lobotka as well, pressing super high up the field, and we keep our distances quite tight between the players. And we even see that, and so basically what happens here is that Trapp, the Frankfurt goalkeeper, has a few options. He can either play it close by, but Napoli, are right there. They might lose the ball, or he has to play long. When a goalkeeper plays it long, it's useless if your midfielders push up and your defenders stay back. So what does Napoli do? Also, their defenders push up, right? And, this is the very next second. Oliveira is up. He wins the ball. And when he wins the ball, the spaces between Napoli players is so close that the ball very likely goes to Lobotka or Kvara, or, maybe if it goes on the right, it's probably Kim that's going to win it. But the defense is also very, very high up the field. And it's a very risky approach at times because you can get caught with a lot of space behind you. But we've got fast players in Oliveira and Kim and to some extent Rahmani as well. So we can deal with that. But it has to be, you have to be brave. You have to go for that. And that allows you to win the ball very high up the field, transition, and, if you win the ball here and it goes to Lobotka, all of a sudden Lobotka now has the opportunity to stop the ball and turn around. And he finally would then have space to actually help Napoli build the attack. And you already have people like Anguissa and Zielinski, and obviously your attackers very high up the field. So a lot of different options for Lobotka if he manages to win the second ball. So this is a key way that you can beat a team that is not pressing you, that is not giving you spaces to run into behind, and is caging your key midfield player when you do have the ball. It's to try to win it as fast, as quickly as possible. Before I move on with the analysis, I know you guys are loving it because I see those likes getting smashed. I mean, dude, I got a message from YouTube saying you guys are smashing it so hard, you know, which is nice to see. So yeah, keep doing that. Before I move on with that, let me see what the comments are saying. If you guys are, you know, commenting on this analysis, or if you guys are just having your own little side chat on the right of this screen. I'm always curious to know what you guys are saying, because obviously when I speak, I can't follow what you're saying. You know, I have to like stop speaking and take my time. Anyways, Justin Turano says, great win. Just watching the way the team controls and moves the ball through the middle is impressive every time I catch a game. Yeah, 100%. Lozano takes a good pens as well. He should get a chance, as deep down the rabbit hole. The penalty, we'll talk about the penalty situation later. Keep that thought, deep down the rabbit hole. If I forget, then send that message again. If I forget, when we talk about the penalty, if I forget to talk about penalty takers, remind me. Man of the match, Kvara. The assist to Lorenzo was insane, says ZA. I wouldn't be so sure about man of the match, Kvara. Michael Chon says, Dom, we couldn't see Kolo Muani either way. He was buried too deep in Kim's pocket. The next slide you might appreciate. Sport TV 2014 Mar says, Forza Napoli. Matt Marco says, you don't need to repeat the same comment multiple times, bro. Yeah, guys, I mean, you know, don't be that guy that like repeats it like 20 times. If I don't read it, I don't read it. I can't read everybody's comment. So, you know, just move on with life if I don't read it, I guess. You know, just contribute to the conversation. And he replies to Matt Marco and says, and no one talked to you. Well, I'm talking to you now. Guys, try to be cool in the comment section, you know. Just try to be cool, right? We don't diss other teams. Why would we diss each other? Vagelis Jeru says the percentages of progressing to the next round should rather be 70, 80, 95, 100, with 95 being the correct answer. Yes, it should have been like that, but I was very strategic with the 180, 60, 50, and that's because I think people saying 50 are Frankfurt fans. And I wanted to see how many Frankfurt fans we have live, because I think, you know, maybe they want to listen in on what we have to say. So that gives me a good indication of how many there are. Let's see some more comments, and then I'll continue the analysis. Sean Putam says, I was about to scream my head off at Liverpool Real Madrid coverage. The only goddamn thing they had to talk about Napoli Frankfurt, it was just to cover the 2 goals and expulsion. Pundits are saying Napoli's only competition in the Champions League is Real Madrid or Man City as the teams that causes problem. And Tom, he says, feel like we couldn't really put the tie to bed at times by taking a chance, but a great result for the first leg. I agree, guys. Remember, it's away from home, and they closed themselves down quite a lot in the second half. Dulce MJ, man, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation, dude. Just saw this. Thanks, guys, for your help, your contribution, and just your support for Napoli Talk. So thank you. I appreciate it. Says, just tuned in, but so happy to see a dominating performance, even if not reflected by the score. Love your content and analysis. Lobotka masterclass, 100%. Arsenal daily updates. Also wanted to say this is my first stream that I caught live. As always, here to do homework. Lamau, love from Toronto. Nice. And you know, nice to see Arsenal fans in the comment section as well, because they play some good football, and so good football recognizes good football. But someone, I can't remember who, mentioned that Kolo Muani was in Kim's pocket. I mean, this slide here, it's just poetry. I mean, Kolo Muani is one of the fastest players right now, and Kim, like, the level of confidence you need to pull off this slide tackle on Kolo Muani, who's like the most informed striker right now, apart from maybe Osimhen and Rashford in the world. So this is the third best striker right now in the world. To pull this tackle off inside the box when this guy's going at speed and you're the last defender, wow. Wow, wow, wow. And the score is 0-0. And it's a Champions League game. And you're away from home. Like, this is unreal. Unreal from Kvara, from Kim. So congrats to Kim. If there's any South Koreans watching, then you'll appreciate this slide. Defenders seriously don't get enough love, but man, when there's a good tackle, there's a good tackle. And Mike Ekstad, thanks man again for the 2 dot, man. You really don't have to every time. Says never diss the other teams except Juventus. Thing is, right, like I made one video where I don't even diss Juventus. I'm stating facts. Like, my video on Juventus got so much hate from Juventus fans on Twitter especially. And they were like, dude, that's not how things went, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, all I did in this video was literally report what court hearings said. Not the rumor that my uncle's friend, taxi driver's brother's dog told him. No, I'm reporting, and no conspiracy theories, nothing. I'm reporting literal court cases with court hearings. And they still thought that I was, chatting nonsense. It's like, no, guys, this is facts. It's not even my opinion anymore. If I were to give my opinion about Juventus, that video would look very differently. It would be much less diplomatic. Let's just put it that way. So I did my best to stay objective and, not cause too many issues. So I do think in this channel we are quite objective with things. Anyways, we get to the goal. And remember before how I said this is all like a story, the analysis, and how one thing leads to the other, and there's a reason why I show you certain screenshots and this and that, and how it's a bit like chess, even though I haven't played chess in about 15 years. But Napoli realized that we can't get the ball to Lobotka, and we see here, Lobotka is completely marked by Muani. So what do? We pull off something that Politano does very often, which is receiving the ball and first time with his left foot releasing Osimhen. Only this time, because we're not playing 4 at the back, but we're playing 5 at the back, Osimhen is way too far away from the wide areas, right? Instead, it's a key. So basically, he's way too far from Di Lorenzo, right? But what happens? Because Kvara is stretching that defense on the other side, because Osimhen is further away, like he's on the Kvara side of the field, that defense is stretched. There's a big gap in between the 5 central defenders that Lozano is able to exploit, and Di Lorenzo has to play him first time. And it's a great pass with his weak foot. I mean, Di Lorenzo, great pre-assist with his left foot and great goal with his left foot, must be said. And Lozano makes a great run. We usually see this between Politano and Osimhen. This time it was between Di Lorenzo and Lozano. And Lozano beats the defender, uses his pace, uses his strength, and shoots a very nice shot, hits the inside of the post. Super unlucky not to score himself. And then look at the starting position of Osimhen compared to Frankfurt's winger. He's miles away. There's no way he should be able to get this ball, and yet he does before the Frankfurt player catches him by surprise. And to be fair to the referee, he spotted that this was a penalty, that this happened inside the box, and honestly, I had no idea that this was inside the box. Like, I was surprised. Osimhen obviously fell like 10 meters away from this. So I was convinced the referee made a mistake, but look at that. Inches, between a penalty and a free kick, and the referee got it spot on. Before I move on with the analysis, guys, I know you guys are loving this. There's so many of you smashing that like button. Let's get to 200 likes, guys. Come on. I know you guys are watching me on the big screen right now. Just minimize it, smash that like button. You'll feel better. It's like you scored a goal, and then you go back to the full screen mode. Lorenzo Morris, a great performance from the team today. Could have been 5 or 6 with the amount of broken down chances we had, but a good result to take back to Napoli. Yeah, a little wasteful at times, but I'm still happy with the 2-0. Jesse says this was actually an easy win for Napoli. Really impressed. Matthias Bifani, happy to see Lozano showing why he's on the starter sheet. Yeah. Kim is the best South Korean in the world. Between him and Son, it's you know what? Let me put a poll. Why not? Let me end the previous poll, and let me start a new poll. If you are South Korean and you're watching this, and probably not because it's like 3 a.m. for you, probably maybe like 5 a.m. I want you to mention it in the comments and tell me exactly who you think is the better one. But for everybody else, you can comment as well. Obviously, it's a free country in most places. Free comment section, let's say, so you can put your opinion as well. But I was interested in especially the South Korean opinion. I'm gonna ask, is Kim the best South Korean in the world? In South Korea, I guess. Oh, in the world, whatever. Or is it Son? And I know Son hasn't had his best season, but let's assume that he had a season like he had last year. So yeah, I'm gonna put that poll. I'm interested to see what people think. I think it's gonna be. I have an hypothesis about this poll I'm doing. Anthony Navarro, man, thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation. Says if we play versus Ancelotti this tourney, we need to win. Yeah, dude. I mean, I actually, now that you mention that, I want to play Ancelotti because we have some unfinished business with that man, and it would be nice to eliminate Real Madrid with Ancelotti as a coach. Anyways, we get to the penalty, right? And Kvara misses this penalty. One sec, guys. Kvara misses this penalty, but I think this is a good save. I mean, if you take a look at that, right, it's not the most angled penalty, I agree. He could have done better. It's at a nice height for the goalkeeper, not too low, not too high. So yeah, he could have done better, but at the end of the day, I still feel like it's a good save. Whether now we change penalty takers is a different story. So this year, we've had Lozano. No, we've not had Lozano, sorry. We've had Politano, and he missed. We've had Osimhen, and he's missed. We've now had Kvara, and he's missed. I think the only person who's taken a penalty this year and not yet missed is Zielinski when he took a penalty in the Champions League earlier this year. No, Zielinski... Did Zielinski miss against Rangers? Oh, man. Did Zielinski miss against Rangers? You know what? He might have done. He might have missed against Rangers. In that case, guys, let me know in the comment section. If anyone remembers, let me know in the comment section below. Zielinski missed as well, says Anthony Navarro. Yeah. So, Nicola says Elmas. Right. Now, the problem with... So, every guy who's pretty much starting for us, Osimhen, Kvara, Zielinski, has missed. Then we get to the people who are not guaranteed a starting spot, which is Lozano, Politano, and Elmas. Now, all three of them could take a penalty. Politano's missed some already. Lozano, I've never seen Lozano take a penalty. I don't know if he's the type of guy that scores penalties or not. He's got a good shot, Lozano, so it could be good. However, he doesn't play all the games, right? He's not always a starter. So that means that basically 50% of the time, you're going to have a player who is your, let's say, penalty taker, not on the field, which means that we're back to square one, which means either, again, Osimhen, Kvara, this guy, that guy, or their mother has to take the penalty, right? So what do? How do we resolve this? Also, Lobotka missed against Cremonese. We got knocked out of the cup because of that. So, do we go with Anguissa? Right? Pretty much plays every game. Almost 90 minutes per game. But is he the type of guy that takes penalties? I have a suggestion. Why don't we let Kim take a penalty? He scored against Cremonese, was one of the first penalty takers, and the guy has ice in his veins. Like, you know? And it's not uncommon. I know what you guys are saying. Oh, he's a defender. I get it. But look at the poll. He's better than Son. 70% of you have literally just clicked that he's better than Son. So, therefore, shouldn't he be the one that takes penalties? And I know he's a defender, but you've seen other defenders take penalties. Sergio Ramos, Bonucci. I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of you are asking for Meret, which is interesting. There was a goalkeeper in Brazil that used to do that. But actually, a lot of you guys are saying Kvara. A few of you guys are saying Di Lorenzo. Look, Di Lorenzo, I don't think is I don't know. It's an interesting option, Di Lorenzo. I don't think he would like that kind of spotlight. I don't know. For me, it's between, if I'm being very brutally honest, it's between keeping it on Kvara and Kim. I would love to see. Yeah, I would love to see what Spalletti does. I'm gonna just keep it to that. I think in the press conference he might talk about it. Anyways, nice. We got more than 200 likes. There we go. Now we get to the goal. Okay, the second goal. The first goal. Where are we? What are we now? We missed the penalty, so it's still 0-0. We get to the goal, which starts off with a Lobotka ball recovery. Now, if you saw the last live against Sassuolo, you will know that I pointed that out as one of the key factors of Napoli scoring, of winning. It's the fact that Lobotka recovers so many balls. Like, half of our interceptions come through Lobotka, and we are so dangerous in the transition. He passes the ball to Lozano, and Lozano picks out Osimhen beautifully, and Osimhen puts it at the back of the net, I must say, guys, don't hate me, but Osimhen really scuffed that shot. I mean, in Naples, they would say he did piede, you know? And I said that with the most un-Neapolitan accent ever. Pere. Because it's hard to transition between English and Neapolitan. Like, it's hard enough to transition between English and Italian. The transition to Neapolitan, oh my god. Like, my brain has to go into like a completely different wavelength. So that's why it came off a little weird. So anyone watching from Naples is going to be like, oh. But I got it right the second time, all right? So easy with me in the comment section, guys. But basically, what that means is the literal translation in English. It's he did foot and foot. It's when you like try to kick the ball and it goes from one foot to the other, and you know, basically a very messy finish. But he's at this moment in his life where even those things are working out for him, and I'm all for it, man. If that's how you're gonna score a goal, then that's how you're gonna score a goal, and you know, I'm cool with that. So yeah. A lot of you are saying Kvara. Nicola says Oliveira. Yeah, Oliveira could be nice, but again, it's the same issue that he doesn't start every game. Edgar Cabreira, sounds like a very Brazilian last name, says Rodrigo, that's the one. Rogerio Ceni, that's the one, man. Ceni from Sao Paulo. He used to shoot penalties and I think also a fefew free kicks. But one time he missed and they scored on him on the other way. It was either a free kick that he missed or a penalty, and they just scored by just chucking it the other side. Giorgio Imedashvili says, dude, CR7 and Messi are missing the penalties. Let Kvara take penalties. If Lozano has a good shot, he would have at least 7 goals this season with this Napoli. Yeah, that's true. You know, penalties are... You can only miss them if you take them, right? So let him do it. And also, we saw that it didn't really affect his performance, right? Because he still had a good game. So it's not like it's negatively affecting him later on. He's just missing and continues playing very well. So you're right. You know, I think with that argument, Georgie has convinced me. I was 50-50 between him and someone else, but I'm convinced now. Let's keep it with Kvara. And this is the beauty of the comment section during a live stream, is that I actually listen to you guys. So let's go forward. Literally a minute later, Lozano recovers the ball. Great play by Lozano today. And Osimhen again scuffs his shot the same way and still manages to score. It's incredible. How this man has screwed up twice and managed to score both times is incredible, but he was a little bit offside. But at some point, I couldn't decide if I was watching a replay or not, because look at how similar that is to the previous one. Within the space of, I don't know, 30 seconds? You know, it's crazy. But yeah, Osimhen slightly offside, unfortunately. And then Lozano in the second half again recovers a ball super high up the field. It goes to Osimhen. Osimhen loses it. It goes back to Lozano. Lozano sees Kvara on the other side, passes it to Kvara. Kvara takes the ball, a bit of a heavy touch, and Trapp is super good at coming out of the line. Look how far up he is. He even goes, you know, if you play this on a video, he goes even more closer and, you know, makes up the ground very, very fast. And the angle for Kvara was a little hard. Maybe he took a bit of a heavy touch, a little bit heavy, but I think this was more good from the goalkeeper than a mistake from Kvara. You know, first the keeper did well. Maybe then later you can talk about Kvara could have done better, but I think first it's a good goalkeeping moment. And then we get to this, which is the moment that changed the game, not so much in terms of who wins, but changed the dynamics of the game. A red card for Kolo Muani. Look, this guy, I'm sad that he left so early in the game. I think this is a orange card. It's not a yellow. It's a bit harsh to be a red. It's orange, you know, but orange doesn't exist. So at that point, I think you then have to be very when it's kind of, you then have to be very literal, and, you know, the guy steps on Osimhen, on Anguissa, and that's it. He's got to go. But he didn't try to hurt Anguissa. He was just running at, you know, it's not a mean tackle. That's why it's orange for me, but there's no such thing, right? But yeah, that changed the game massively for us. Highbury 10, another Arsenal fan maybe? A lot of Arsenal fans maybe in today's stream. Thank you so much, man, for the $5 donation. Says, why not just have your main striker Osimhen take it without all this complications? That is also a very good point. Osimhen did take some at the start of the year, had mixed results. I still think he's a good penalty taker. But I think, you know, when you train all week, Spalletti must have seen that Kvara has a better overall performance, and therefore, you know, you're just trying to maximize your chances as the coach, and so that's why it's been Kvara lately. But who knows if this changes now? Like, we don't really know until we hear what Spalletti has to say. And Anthony Navarro says, I think Osimhen doesn't want the inflated stats, dude. Osimhen's stats, if he had penalties and if he scores penalties, would be unreal, like unreal. Our trident was awesome, says Rudy Castillo. Yeah, I agree, 100%. And Edgar says, luck demands a lot of hard work. That's the current momentum of Osimhen, a sort of attraction law. Good things attract good things. That's, yeah, I love that. I love that comment, and it's true. because you can only be lucky if you put yourself in the condition where a fortunate moment will happen to benefit you. Like Osimhen is always there, recovering the ball, putting himself in the right positions, and finding the right space for himself. He's at the right moment at the right time. When you do that, then it means that if you get lucky, you score, right? If you don't do that work, then you don't get lucky. The opportunity to get lucky is not even there. So yeah, Osimhen won 8 penalties last season. Interested to know how many he's won this season. Probably already more or less in that region, actually. I think he might be around that for this season as well. And then we get to the Di Lorenzo goal, which was beautiful, because look at this run from Kvara. Attracts, how many of these? 1, 2, 3, 4. Guy before, five players. Frees up so much space. Like, think about Frankfurt, right? They are 10 men down. They're 1 man down. They have 10 men, right? So they're all about parking the bus right now. You should be seeing a line of 5 in defense, if not 6. But Kvara is so good. He's able to attract so many players to him that look at the gap that's formed in front of him on that defense, right? And he's able to spot Anguissa with the peripheral vision, and Anguissa controls this ball and feeds it into this run that Kvara keeps doing. And opposition players, they just let go of Kvara. They think that once he's released the ball, he's not dangerous anymore. But maybe you can think like that with a player like Mudryk, with a player like I don't know who, right? But not with Kvara, because Kvara is not only good with his feet, he's also good with his head. So he knows when he passes the ball where he needs to go next. He's actually even more dangerous without the ball. But it seems like the opposition does not realize that, and they just let go of him. They don't stay focused on him. So this space opens up. He's free. He receives the pass. Defenders, again, go and try to get close to him. And this is where the magic moment happens in the game. This back heel pass to Giovanni Di Lorenzo. Giovanni Di Lorenzo, the right back. Look at where he is in a number 10 position. This is where you would expect someone like, I don't know, in a Roma game, you would expect Paulo Dybala to be there, right? About to curl it with his left foot. You would expect Messi to be there if you were watching PSG. Instead, we have Giovanni Di Lorenzo, who's not a number 10, but we've talked about it in other live streams. He is playing wherever he sees the space. And in this moment in time, that's where the space was. So he makes the run from the right-hand side, gets into the space, gets into the edge of the box centrally, and actually inside the box, and curls it in with his weaker foot, which is a sign of utter confidence. And it's the summary of Napoli's moments so far. Even a player like Kvara, who missed a penalty, can make a moment of brilliance like this, because everything is going great for us. It's incredible, man, what this team is doing. Adam Miller says, Lorenzo, I don't think it's the facilities. Our facilities are also special in a different way. I just appreciate it. It's my favorite place to watch a game, even though it's not fancy. Sometimes I pick like a random comment and I don't know where it's going because I haven't pre-read it. And now I'm thinking, what facilities are we talking about? So I have to go back to something that was said by some other person called Lorenzo, which I need to find in the chat, and probably about facilities. And now I found it, I think. Lorenzo Cioni says, how are we going to avoid not being a one-season wonder? Can we truly become a player on the world stage? Personally, I think we are still too small and lack basic facilities that top clubs have. Now it all makes sense why other people were talking about facilities and calling your name. So, one season wonder. I think we've got the potential to be more than a one season wonder, because honestly, I don't see other teams in the Serie A catching up all these points to us. Considering we are something like 20 points ahead of Roma and all that, like I think even if we lose a player, I can't see them making up that many points in one season. Apart from that, I think the benefit of this team is that we have a very deep squad, so we're not ultra reliant on one player. We had Osimhen miss a few games, 4 or 5 games. We won without him. We had Kvara miss 4 or 5 games. We won without him. So I don't think our level drops massively by 20 points if we lose one of these players. And even if we do lose them, we'd make so much money out of them that we would replace them. So the potential to be more than a one-season wonder because of our squad depth is kind of high. Also, we have a coach that, he knows what he's doing, Spalletti. What else? The facilities, it could be an issue. Obviously, if a player comes to Napoli and you show him the facilities, he might say, I've seen better at other clubs. Yeah, fair enough, right? But at the end of the day, a player that is looking at the facilities is not the type of player that Napoli is interested in the first place. Let me explain. A player that looks at the facilities is a player that is already at a top club. Is a player coming from Real Madrid, coming from Liverpool, and they have a certain level of expectation, okay? These are not the type of players we will buy. We will not buy the starter from Real Madrid next season. We won't, okay? We're not. We're not gonna buy someone like that. We're not gonna buy Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. is gonna look at the facilities. The type of players we're gonna buy players that want to make an impact. That's the biggest thing. Like Osimhen and Kvara chose Napoli because they thought that this is the best club for them to make an impact. I didn't care about the facilities. They thought I fit into this technical project. The coach wants me. I can be the main star in this team. It's a team that has the potential to do well in the Champions League, to do well in the league if we get the right, thing going. The aspect of the facilities is like item number 6 on that list. That's just my opinion about it. I feel like a player like Kvara, it wouldn't have even crossed his mind whether we have the latest gym equipment or not. He just wanted to find a team in Europe that will play him as a starter, that will expose him to the world, that will release him into the stage for the world to see, and that he can be a top player in that team. Stop. He didn't even look at salary. He's on 1 million. So all these things about salary, facilities, we don't even, it doesn't, it's not the type of players we will ever go for. And we don't need those players to be top class. We don't need players like Vinicius Jr., this and that, because Napoli is a team that makes these players, right? And unlike other teams, we don't necessarily need to sell them either. And the nice thing about it is that they become big superstars like Osimhen is right now. And we saw him score a goal and kiss the badge, and he's, I think, super happy to stay at Napoli. I don't think he's a player that will force a move out of Napoli. I've said it multiple times. If an offer comes for Osimhen, 150 million, De Laurentiis will go up to Osimhen and say, hello, Victor, I have this offer on the table. Do you want to accept it, yes or no? He will not tell Osimhen, please accept it because I need the money. It just won't happen. It will always be down to the player because De Laurentiis has no cash necessities, no loans, no nothing, so whatever. And we know that the benefit of keeping Osimhen is very high. And if we don't sell him this year, we can sell him the next year. And Osimhen himself probably wants to stay because he feels like a protagonist here. And, he has maybe just as good of a chance of winning a major trophy here than somewhere else. So Yeah. Anyways, long answer to a question. Anyways, let me finish this live stream with this almost goal. Not the live stream, the analysis of the game with this almost goal from Anguissa, man. If he had scored from lying down, that would have been absurd. Anyways, we get to the player ratings. And my man of the match for today is the one and only Stanislav Lobotka with a 9 out of 10 performance. I know I told my dad I would start lowering these performances a little bit, but I gotta give a 9 to Lobotka, man. I mean, he is just... Every time he does something, it's good. Like, everything he does is good. All the time. You know, it's not just the one time. It's every time. Every time it's the right choice. And it's those things that they don't make the highlights. But he knows exactly when to play first time, when to play with 2 touches, when to play it back, when to play to the left, to the right, to the center. Like, it's unreal how everything he does is the correct and best decision. And it really helps Napoli. And the ball recoveries that he does, it's so important. Because, let me be very honest with you guys, if he made half of those recoveries only, probably with those chances that would progress to, you know, for the other team, we would be conceding so many more goals. But we've got a real wall in the midfield. And, you know, he just funnels everything. And, you know, he takes the ball, is able to release it. Like, for the goal that we had today, he stole the ball from a Frankfurt player and released Lozano within a second, and then Lozano passed it to Osimhen and scored. But for me, that goal doesn't even happen without Lobotka. So, yeah, for me, it's all credit to him. So, yeah. So, I really enjoy Lobotka. You know, he's so good that people compare him to Iniesta. Man, I think looking at the last season and a half, which is not a short amount of time, the last 18 months, I'm seeing some levels that are very similar. The only thing he's missing is goals, but in terms of playmaking, he's got nothing to worry about compared to other great players. Then we get to the second best player, which was clearly Lozano. Again, also him, ball recoveries, assist for Osimhen. He hit the post, which then led to the Osimhen penalty. So very good from Lozano. And so, you know, the only thing is that as a striker, he's one of the 3 strikers, right? So for me, I would love to see Lozano get on the score sheet. It's been a long time, so you know he's almost there. He's always improving now. I hope the next time he can score. Osimhen 8 because he scored the goal. He got us the penalty. So and almost very close to scoring 2 goals for himself. So very good performance. Kvara 7. He played well. Good assist for Di Lorenzo. A real menace. I have to be consistent with other times where I removed a point if you miss a penalty. So I'm sorry about that. I hope Georgian fans don't kill me. But unfortunately, if he had scored that penalty, he would have gotten an 8.5. If he didn't take that penalty, he would have gotten an 8. Because he took it and he missed, he gets a 7. I'm sorry. Zielinski, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh, but I expect a bit more of an impact from him. Anguissa did really well. I think he did, for example, better than Kvara, but less than the other 3 that we talked about earlier with the higher scores. Kim did really well. I mean, we talked about that tackle on Muani. I think he had him in his pocket. Di Lorenzo did amazing. He did the pass for Lozano, the pre-assist for the goal, and he scored a goal himself, so he gets an 8 for sure. Kept a clean sheet, and the other guys in defense all did their job. You know, Meret as well. The first half when he did that save from the cross. That's something that Meret, we know, is not very comfortable doing. He doesn't like to exit the little box that he has, but he steps it up in the big games nowadays. And you know, the guys that came on, they did okay. 6.5, like, it's still good. Like, they contributed, they kept a good level, but let's be honest, guys, the game was done at that point. It was already 10 versus 11, so I'm never gonna give them more than a 6.5 for coming on fresh against a team that's already with 10 men. Ndombele, I didn't like him today too much, so he barely scrapes by with a 6. And Spalletti gets an 8 for finding the way to win against a team away from home that's in form, that has good players, and that made it very difficult for Lobotka today. So yeah, that's my analysis of the player ratings. If you agree with at least 3 of these, then smash the like button if you already haven't, and let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. So Lorenzo, firstly, saying, I agree with your point about what players Napoli looks for, but how do we establish ourselves on the world stage so that breakout players won't look at a stepping stone to go to Real Madrid? Fair enough. I mean, I think this happens with, firstly, winning a little bit. So maybe this year we win a trophy, a big one, and maybe again next year, and maybe again next year, and maybe we start getting into consistent semifinals of the Champions League. At that point, the money starts coming in, the sponsorship starts coming in, and then slowly but surely you have now the money to build these facilities. Because remember, some of these clubs have built these facilities taking loans from banks, right? And they have debt. Napoli is a team that has no debt. And, you know, making a world-class facility nowadays, it's going to cost you 50, 100 million, right? So you have to then decide, am I going to spend this 50, 100 million on 2 or 3 players, or am I going to buy equipment and make a pool and make this and make that and make that? At the end of the day, you don't really need this equipment to play well, because we've shown it, right? Like, I don't need the latest gym equipment to work out. Like, I just don't. As long as it's got a weight and I can adjust the weight, then as long as the pool has some water in it, I don't need 20 lanes. I'm okay with 6, right? So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of it's just a matter of, like, you can make it work with the facilities that you have. But as I said, we will probably get more money this year and next year compared to previous years. So maybe we have a bit more to spend on that stuff. A username says, hello, I'm Georgian, and I know he didn't have the best game. If anyone is irritated by that, it's their problem. I think nobody is irritated by Kvara, man. We love Kvara. And a 7 out of 10 is still good. It's good. 6.5 is like, meh. 6 is, I don't know. 7 is, yeah, it's good. 7.5 is, oh, nice. 8 is, whoa. That's 8.5 is like, damn. 9 is like, oh my god, you know. So that's the reaction levels for each you know, rating. So 7 is still a positive. Yeah, come on, a 7 is nice. 7 out of 10, we can do 7. SJ says Kvara should get an extra 0.5 just for the back heel. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. You know what? Oh man, my dad's gonna kill me. He literally told me, Dom, you're being way too nice with the player ratings. That's not how we do it in Italy. Blah 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 blah. I'm sorry, Dad, but I'm gonna have to make some changes here, because the people have spoken, and also I like Georgians and I don't want them to feel bad. So I'm gonna add this 0.5 to Kvara. There we go. We're editing this live. There's very few times I do this live. Sorry if the font doesn't quite match, but oh wow, that's way off the size of this thing. How do I make it smaller? There we go. All right, there we go. 7.5. Damn it. My dad's not gonna be happy with that. Okay, moving on. Mike, I told you guys, he told me I'm being too generous with my player ratings. Mike Ekstad with the $2 donation says, plus the women are more beautiful in Naples than the UK. I don't know what that has to do with the conversation that we're having. I don't know who you're replying to, but I will agree. I will agree. And I know Naples and I've lived in the UK. I will agree. I don't want to diss anyone though, so let's just leave it there. We're gonna get into very dangerous waters if we continue this conversation. Antonio Tonti says, use those numbers instead. Yeah. Adam Miller says, Lorenzo, we need to build our team the same way we have. Those teams have financial issues and we don't, so we have an advantage in different ways. Exactly. Those teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter, Juve, blah, blah, they might have nicer facilities, this and that. They are scratching their heads right now on how they're paying all this stuff back. And we'll see in a few years what that means. Maybe it means that they can't make a mercato anymore. They can't buy players. That's why I don't see, for example, Inter, Milan catching up to us. Like, where are they going to get the money from? They're full of debt. Simo1926 Napoli says, you see that Kvara is world class when even if he's not in the best day, he still has a huge impact on the game in one way or another, like Milan, for example. Yeah, exactly, and that's what we said, right? He's the type of guy that can miss a penalty, can miss a one-on-one chance with a goalkeeper, and then boom, assist beautifully for Di Lorenzo. So you can never take him off the field. Vesavia says, I'm going to save your explanations for your ratings, Dom. It was hilarious. Which part? By the way, I want to make, for the end of the season, there's going to be a lot of work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but I want to make like one video where it's just 5-10 second clips of some of the funny things that have happened over the season in these lives. Like the other day we were talking about if we were going to tattoo Mario Rui's feet on our body, just stuff like that, and just completely take things completely out of context and make a compilation video out of that. Anthony Navarro says, does the Scudetto celebration happen in Naples when it's the last home game, or the home game where it's mathematically clinched? Apart from the celebrations happening already to some extent, even though we're being calm, we're being a very mature tifoseria right now. We're being kind of mature about it, unlike maybe if it was 5 or 6 years ago, where we would get more carried away. But I would say as soon as it's mathematically clinched, people are going to be in the streets, like celebrating like crazy. Whether it's a home game or away game, people are going to go down in the streets. And then in the final home game, there's going to be the trophy celebration, there's trophy presentation, but by then it'll be like 2 months after we would have mathematically won it already, probably. Boomer says, Lobotka single-handedly created all the chances. He made Frankfurt look creatively dead, even with 3 center attacking mids. Kolo Muani was the best player for Frankfurt, and then Italian Mafia paid the ref to red him. I don't think so, man. We saw that it was a red card. He put his feet on Anguissa. But you bring up a good point that he stopped all the Frankfurt players. And that has an impact also on their confidence, man, because, you get stopped once, twice, 3 times. Lobotka just, destroys them, destroys their soul. Anthony says, I'm going to try to go back to Napoli during this time to celebrate when it's official. Yeah, for sure, there will still be the celebrations are not going to be one day. Dude, the celebrations are going to go on until the next winner, the next year, or whenever that might be. Like, we are going to celebrate for so long. We've been waiting 33 years for this. It's ridiculous. Blue Line says, Di Lorenzo deserves 8.4. Don't add this. He made many chances and score a goal. Don't make me change it again, guys. Don't make me change it again. I'll allow 1 change per live session. Let's go, guys. Like, by the way, the stats of the game, are a little. The stats of the game are a little misleading because obviously it's played 10 against 11. But we said it before, right? We said when it was still 11v11, we had 71% possession, 87% passing accuracy, which is pretty much what we still have now. And we had 10 interceptions versus the one for Frankfurt. I mean, we destroyed them, like just crazy. The next games, Empoli away from home. Guys, forgive me, but it's the weekend of my sister's birthday, and I'm traveling to, to be there. This game happens to be on a Saturday, which is when it's being celebrated. I don't know. I'll probably watch the game. I'll probably sneak in a way to watch the game, but whether I'm gonna be making a full-on live, I don't know. I might just decide to go live with my phone for 10 minutes, celebrate with you guys a little bit, and that's it. So don't expect anything crazy for the Empoli game, or I might make like a short, after the game, something like that. Like it won't be anything crazy. I'm sorry. So yeah. Then we get 3 home games in a row. Big ones. Lazio, Atalanta, Frankfurt. And the fact that we won 2-0 against Frankfurt away from home means we don't even have to maybe put our reserves in these previous games, right? We can probably play, our starters in all 3 with an 80% intensity against Frankfurt at home. It should still be fine. We don't have to stress these guys out too much. As opposed to, if the game was 0-0, then you need to really rest the players, and so you have to then play your reserves against Atalanta. I don't think we're at that level. And then let's see what Spalletti has to say, and then we'll call it a day, guys, because it's quite late. So Spalletti in the press conference. Smash that like button if you still haven't, because we are now guys, by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we are 1 hour and 18 minutes into this live. So yeah, that deserves a smash, because we are 1 hour and 18 minutes into the live, and we are 18 points above. No, we're not. We're 15 points above Inter. Whatever. I was gonna make it about how many points we're above Inter. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's move on from that. Let's go to the Spalletti press conference, where I hope he is not too poetic like he was over the weekend, and it's gonna be an easy read. He says, guys, the press conference starts with Lobotka. He congratulates Lobotka, and so that means that my man of the match, Lobotka, is justified, because even he says it. He says, Lobotka was marvelous tonight, because we really got to see his qualities. He handled the ball like a true maestro, with quickness, with the right reasoning behind every decision. He is a maestro. He is so fast to turn around and do these torsions on himself. He has great quality, and he was never once beaten today. You can never beat Lobotka in a duel. When we try to play the ball fast, he is very good at that as well. He can open up the play for us. He can conquer a lot of balls in the midfield. We're really lucky to have Lobotka. So yeah, I mean, Spalletti, I think, it's incredible what he did to transform this player, to bring out the best in him, because we thought 2 years ago that he was, just not it. Instead, he's one of the best in Europe at the moment. Napoli and Real Madrid today played really well away from home. Are they the 2 candidates to go even further than the quarterfinals? And Spalletti says, calma, we need calma. We still need to play one more game to pass this round. We don't have to think about what happens in the future. If my players think about this, then I won't let them play a single minute. We need to, you can laugh all you want, but this is how it works. If I see that a player is thinking about something other than the next game, he doesn't play that game. The mentality has to be to fight in every game, because at the start of every game, everything goes back to 0-0. Everything, the next game is 0-0. You can't take anything with you to the next round. So all you need is a small detail that goes against you, and the whole tie will start to, flip around. And I mean, we saw that with Liverpool today, right? They were winning 2-0. As soon as Real Madrid score one goal, that's it. They collapse, and it's 5-2 for Real Madrid. They showed a lot of maturity after the penalty. They mentioned to Spalletti, and he says, yeah, we have to really put into the light this thing here, because the team never lost courage after the penalty. In fact, we insisted even more afterwards. With this kind of reasoning, behaving like this, we can win many games. We want to win every game. And the nice thing about football is that each game only happens once, and we realize that every game is a one-off opportunity, and we want to win them. You can't go back in time if you mess up a game. So this type of mentality gives us the motivation to win every single game when they come. So these are the type of games we dream about since we are little kids. We can't screw them up. We had the possibility to make the third goal. So yeah, there's still room for improvement, but we didn't give Eintracht anything. We didn't concede anything to Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt, and they are a very good team, especially in the transition. But we played really well to not concede anything. Very mature performance. We were super aggressive when we lost the ball, and we recovered it immediately. The squad needs to defend very high up the field and be very compact, which we talked about in the analysis. So yeah, it's also nice to see that Spalletti is also saying the stuff that we pointed out in this analysis, which means that, he's doing a good job. We're doing a good job. He said the team was perfect today with regards to the distances between the different departments. Lozano, he's very good. He has those accelerations that only he has. He can kill you with speed. And he did very, very well. Sometimes we want to play with this. Sometimes we want to make other decisions. But if these are the performances that these players give us, then I'm not worried. We have a lot of garra with Chucky, which is like the South American, Central and South American like intensity. Kim is a player that everything comes easy to him. He's very technical. He knows how to start off the maneuver of every attack. He knows how to make the ball go from left to right. He wasn't used to doing it before at Fenerbahce, but he's learned that very, very quickly. Everything I tell him to do, he's able to learn it quickly. He has the right technique, the right stamina, the right strength. So are you upset that you didn't win with more margin? They asked him, and he says, look, we have a good we had a good performance, a good result, Eintracht made it difficult because they played a 5-3-1. So yeah. And they asked him about Muani, who is not gonna play the next round, and he said, look, even without Muani, their attack still is very strong. They had a good game even without him, but all we need to think about is ourselves, the fact that we need to reconquer the ball, we don't lose the ball too much, which is good. and we have a lot of stamina. Every game we're able to outrun the opposition and keep the equilibrium and all that. And yeah, this is all thanks to how Napoli played. So, and not because the other team lost Muani that they suddenly lost a bit of spark. No, it's because Napoli played really well. So lots of compliments for Napoli from Spalletti, guys. So yeah, and a lot of you guys are agreeing. H says Kim knows how to compose games. Only team that will give Napoli a hard time will be Real Madrid at the moment. You know, the thing about Kim, next time Napoli plays, look at what Kim does when he sometimes receives the ball. He receives it from Rahmani and then first time gives it to Oliveira or Mario Rui. A lot of defenders instead like to stop the ball, then pass it. The fact that Kim plays very often one-touch football, it means that you're just that 1 second faster at everything. And that little detail is maybe the difference between finding that extra space in the middle or not for the other players. You know, because it doesn't give the other team the time to shift completely to the other side. He does that very well, so playing first time. He also is able to give a long ball. He's also able to just dribble himself. We've seen him do it centrally a lot of times. So he's got a lot of different things available to him in his arsenal when he's trying to start the play from the back. And he doesn't rush into things, right? He knows, like, you know, if the opportunity is not here, I'm not gonna force it. So yeah, just a very, very, very good, solid defender. Vincenzo Bertillo, thank you, man, for the $13.99 Canadian dollars. Sorry, I have to drink water. Thanks, my man. How are you doing? Big OG fan of the channel, and always supports it. So, you know, I love Vincenzo, man. And we had him on Napoli. Some of you may know him because we had him on Napoli Talk after the Milan-Napoli game. He says, was working, so I missed the game. Can't wait to watch it back and catch up on Napoli Talk. Oh, man, too nice. 1 foot in the quarters. We're making history. Let's go. Yep. Man, you missed a nice game. I don't think it was the most exciting game. I didn't expect Eintracht to play so defensively, but it was a very, I think, important game in Napoli's season. I think when we look back at our season, we will look back at this game and say, wow, this is a team that played away from home, missed a penalty, scored right after. You know, this is a team that has personality, that has character, and it's these type of wins that I think really make you understand that this team is not just technically good, they're mentally good as well. And put those two together, and who can stop you? You have technique, mentality, and depth. So, and a lot of hunger, guys, with this team. Anthony Navarro says, dumb is Napoli Talk over when we pulled the Scudetto? I believe you said this a while back. Ooh. I think I said it for last season, so this season doesn't really count. So no, it won't be over. Of course not. It's never going to be over. Well, I mean, at some point it will have to be. Unless I can find a way to live forever. I don't know if I want to do that, though. I don't know, man. I mean, living forever, it's a bit much. Anyways, Lorenzo Cioni says, thanks for the stream and answering the questions. Great to see a Napoli YouTuber. Sim forte. Yeah, we are. Sim troppo forte. Don't neglect Super Sub Simeone too. Exactly, man. We have a lot of depth. I mean, no one's neglecting Simeone. We have a lot of depth. We said that about this Napoli team. So, vabbè, let's call it a day. Guys. It's late for a lot of you. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1 hour and a half of live stream. I certainly did. I enjoyed the result, the live stream, your company, all that good stuff. Thanks for smashing the like button, the donations, the support, the comments, interactions, the clicking on the polls and clicking here when I tell you to click there. And you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. You know, I always say the players do their performance, I do my performance, and you guys do your performance. You know, everybody is performing right now in this Napoli environment. This whole ecosystem is working, okay? We're all doing our bit, which is nice. Anyways, I'm gonna end it there. Have a good night, guys, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.